So y'all, one time while I was working there, I was actually being accused of robbing the cash register. Y'all, I was accused of robbing the cash register of $200. What's up, y'all? It's your girl NK, period, and I'm back again with another video. So today I'm gonna be telling y'all about why I quit Chick-Fil-A, because child, together. Before I start talking about all of that, make sure y'all like this video, subscribe, and watch the video all the way to the end, please. If you are not following me on my socials, it's gonna be on the screen. Enough of the talking. Let's Enough of the talking. Let's jump straight into the video. And before I get into the story, let me just make a disclaimer. This is not going to be your experience at every Chick-fil-A. I know some people that have worked at Chick-fil-A and loved it. This was just my experience. So I just want to put that out there. But this is pretty relevant. Like, people need to know about this, you know, before you work at that Chick-fil-A that I work at. They're lucky that I'm not going to put their store number out. But Mr. Owner of that Chick-fil-A, if you see this, yeah, you're welcome. Okay, y'all, so I started working at Chick-fil-A when I was a junior in high school, and I was hired in like January. Everything with working at Chick-fil-A went very, very well for the first couple of months. I worked at Chick-fil-A for 9 months. I don't have the uniform shirt anymore. I would have showed y'all proof that I worked there, but I think I'll insert a snap on the side here so y'all can see I actually did work at Chick-fil-A. And here's one of our Cow Day shirts, I think. So after working there for 9 months, I would say right about the, like, I didn't even work there for, it was like 8.5 months. So right towards the like 6-7 month mark, that's when I started having issues. I had minor issues before, like since I was an AP student in high school, like I had issues with the managers not like letting me off of work early enough for me to get back home and do homework and stuff like that. Because I would literally come straight from school. I would go to my house for like 15 minutes, get dressed, you know, try to get something to eat real quick and get to work. Like that's how my schedule was for like most of my junior year. That was like the only like major issue that I had before the time that I'm gonna tell you about. One thing that I noticed like while I was working at Chick-fil-A is that it is very, very sexist. Like when I say it's sexist, y'all, it is. Like only the girls work the dining area where you like serve customers food, and people are always telling you smile, blah blah blah, like, you know, all those things that you probably like that you wouldn't tell a boy. So it was very, very sexist. And on top of being sexist, like there was low-key favoritism. So there was like a time when I was working at Chick-fil-A where there would be like these girls who worked there too, and we would have like certain people on the schedule to do certain tasks. But when they would come into work, if they didn't like the task they was doing, they would immediately like go wipe it and change it. But like if somebody else like who wasn't like, you know, how do I say this without being like, you know, if it was somebody else who wasn't like a favorite or whatever, tried to do that, like the managers would like have this whole fit or whatever. So I hated working the dining area. Like when I tell y'all I hated it, not even because the customers were like, you know, rude or nothing like that, just cause like it was legit the most like, I don't want to say dumb job, but it was the least favorite job. Let me just say that. Because when you work the diner, like you would clear people's trays for them, which is usual. You will wipe the windows of the store, like outside and inside. Like same thing with the play area. Like it was just a very like you need to always be finding something to do type of like situation, even though there wasn't like always something to do. But like people would be like, the managers would like, especially the owner, y'all, wait till I get to the owner, but they would like always try to make you like, you know, like find something to do, but like there was no specific task. Let me just say that. And maybe I'm just the type of worker that like needs a specific task, but there was no specific stutter. Anywho, there was no specific task when you were working dining. So let me get into some other details. So when working at Chick-fil-A, y'all, we had to wear these hats which is very like a normal thing when a lot of people work fast food. So I couldn't get braids a lot at all because it wouldn't fit on my hat, or I couldn't get my nails done. Those were just like, you know, like mediocre things that was just like came with working that job. So let me get to the juicy part. Like, let me just get to the part where I actually quit. So it was one day I was like getting ready to go to work. Same situation, you know, I'm coming back from school. I got 15 minutes before I need to get to work, get dressed, buzz on out. So I actually had an argument that day with somebody in my house because they were trying to say that I need to quit my job. And I'm like, Sweetie, honey, boo boo, child, you don't pay my bills. So what do you mean I need to quit my job? You don't work my job for me either. So this person was not my mom, by the way, y'all. But so I was having an argument. I was like, they got me messed up. Like, I'm not quitting my job. You need to, like, you don't have a reason to tell me to quit my job. So whatever, like, cool. So I'm going to work that day, and you know, I feel like that kind of already like put me in a bad mood, and I don't know. Oh yeah, something I left out. I left out this about the favoritism, y'all. I'm gonna get back to the story. So one thing that came with the favoritism was the raises or the promotion. So at the beginning of the job, they had told me there was like a lot of opportunity to get a raise or whatever. And if anybody wants to know what I was making $8.50. They had told me there's a lot of opportunities for raises and like stuff like that. And I was like, cool. So the time for raises and whatnot came around. So what we had to do was do this like training course that the managers was gonna give to us. But like every time I would ask the manager for like details about the training course, it was always like, ask me later, or ask me tomorrow, or ask 2 days later. And mind you, we only had like a specific amount of time to do the training. I think it was like 2 hours. I mean, not 2 hours, 2 weeks to do the training. So like, I just kind of like gave up on getting the training. So then like after those 2 weeks, a week later, like there was raises being put out and people was saying, oh, that they got this raise, they got this raise. Mind you, some people did the training and some people got the training. Let me say that because again, I didn't get it because the managers kept like delaying and like all this stuff. So some people got the training and did it, and some people did not. Both types of people got a raise, y'all. Like when I say that had me so messed up, I was like, first one, I've been working this job longer than this person, and I know I'm a good worker. One thing about one thing about me when I'm a worker, y'all, like if I'm gonna do something work, I'm gonna do it diligently. I'm gonna do it like with all my like heart, you know, I'm gonna do it with all my effort, all that. I was a good worker. I was not a lazy worker at all. So the fact that like some people got raises and others did not, if you know what I mean, I was just kind of like, interesting. Like that was just something that I was like, okay. It's just like the day that I quit was not just that one, like that thing that happened that one day. It was a compilation of things. So let's fast forward back to the day that I was gonna quit. So I get to my job, you know, and of course they have me working the dining, y'all. Again, let me remind y'all, boys don't work dining, it's only girls, and you always getting told to smile and just unnecessary, like, I hate to say it, but like sexism. The owner came in that day. Now let me tell y'all one thing about this owner, about this specific Chick-fil-A. He is very, very, very like, how do I say this? Like, y'all know when somebody like try to put people below them? I don't know how to say it. Y'all, I can't remember the word right now. I'm sorry. Quarantine got my brain messed up. Olden days, and like, he was white. Let me say that, he was white. And like, he would have this way of like doing things that was not really up to par if you asked my opinion. Like, for example, he would call the boys, instead of calling them by their name, because we clearly had name tags on our shirts. Instead of calling them by their names, he would be like, son, you need to go do this, son, you need to go do that. Like, it was not, anytime the owner came in, it was not a good day, y'all, like, at all. So, anywho, let me fast forward. So the owner came in that day. And I was working, you know, blah, 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 and this, that, and the third. So I think the owner came over to me, and he was like, did you see that table over there? They need some, you need to go see if they need some help or whatever. So I'm like, obviously I would know if they need help because I've been walking the tables. I would know. But I'm like, you know, cool, whatever. So I walk over to the table, ask them if they need any extra, anything. They're like, no, it's all cool. So I'm like, Okay. I walk around the dining one more time, check on the customers, see if they need anything, you know, real hospitality, whatever. Then I go outside to the windows and I start to wipe them down or whatever, because you know that's also a part of like working the dining. So wipe the windows down because kids are always touching on the glass. So I wipe the windows down. The owner comes out to me and he's like, I really need you to stay inside and make sure you checking on the guests, this, that, and the third. Mind you, like at this point, like I'm already like kind of so like irritated because of what happened before I got to work. But the fact that he was doing that was like really like annoying, like because it was like he kept finding reasons to approach me and like say something or whatever. Mind you, I told y'all I do my job diligently. It's not no like halfway about the way I do my job. So I'm like, at this, the third time he approached me, I'm like, he ain't up to no good. One of my managers gonna call me to the side, like, cause after he like talked to me the third time, one of my managers gonna call me to the side, and they was like, hey, the owner thinks you're giving an attitude. I'm not gonna say the owner's name, but he was like, the owner thinks you're giving attitude, and I was like, attitude, mind y'all, it's because they be trying to say that like black girls, they be trying to say we mad and all this stuff all the time when we not. Like y'all always be trying to, I don't want to say y'all, but people always be trying to make us seem like we're so angry and we're so this and we're so that, like, and we always have attitude. No, like, no, that's not the truth. So I told him, I was like, attitude, like, at that point now I'm starting to get a little bit mad, because I'm like, why would he tell you that I have an attitude when you know, like, I clearly don't. I was like, I don't have an attitude, and like, you should know that, like, out of all your workers here, come on now, meet attitude. So he was like, well, that's just what the owner said, like, you need to go out there and put out a smile and this, that, and the third. Mind y'all, there has been several comments made in the past about this whole like put on a smile thing, like, you know, sexist comments have been made in the past, but they were always just so like subliminal. So this time I was like, you know what, I quit. Like, I just said it like that. And he was like, what? No, what you mean? I was like, I quit. Like, I'm tired of this job. You saw me working. You clearly see that I wasn't doing anything wrong. And but because he's the owner, you can't say anything. Otherwise, you'll lose your job. He was like, no, you don't mean that. Like, it's okay. Like, just calm down, you know, go back out there and work, blah, blah. It's okay. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like frustrated. Like, I'm shaking, y'all. Because I'm like, you know, like, it's really irritating when somebody, like, in a way, like, lies on your name. Like, why would you go tell the manager that I am having an attitude? Who am I having an attitude with? The customers or you? Like, I don't have an attitude. I go back out there and I'm like doing my job and I'm just thinking, y'all, like why do I tolerate this? Like, every time I come to this job, like, they like, most of the time when I come to the job, they put me in this position that rookies are meant to work. Mind you, I've been working there for over 8 months. They put me in this position that rookies are supposed to work. They got rookies working drive-through, working the cashier thingy, like, just like doing the stuff that people want to do. So I just had that in my mind, and I was just like thinking. And then that manager, I guess his shift was ended, so he walks over to me and he's like, if you still want to quit, like, write a letter at the end of your shift and put it in the office and let me know. But if you don't want to quit, like, same thing, write a letter, put it in the office, like, so, you know, this, that, and the third. So I was like, no, I do want to quit. Like, that's what I told him. Like, after doing all my dwelling and thinking and make sure I wasn't overreacting, I was like, no, I do want to quit. So he was like, okay, let's go to the office. So I get to the office, y'all, and I'm like taking off my badge and like all these things, and he's trying to say, like, you know, you don't have to quit. We know you're a really good worker, this, that, and the third. But in my mind and in my heart, y'all, I just couldn't tolerate the fact that nobody was over certain people in the business. Like, so, because another thing is, the head manager was the owner's son, and then the owner was like already like very like beside himself, let me say that. So there was nobody to like report to, because like the way I was being treated and this, that, and the third, there was nobody like to report to, and all these managers were like very like, I understand, but, you know, type managers. I put in my little, I gave them my this thing and that, and I know for some people they might think, oh, like, it's more acceptable to like put in a 2 weeks notice and this, that, and the third. But like at that moment in time, y'all, I just had to go. I had to get out of there. I was done with I was done fighting with them about my schedule. I was done requesting a new uniform. I was done feeling like an outcast because I'm black. Yes, I said it. I was done being underpaid. I was done, y'all. I left the Chick-Fil-A after doing a couple stuff in the office to, certify that I'm quitting or whatever. And I get in my car, y'all. As soon as I get in my car, y'all, I start crying, like I'm bawling. Like, because, like, I'm the type of person that I cry when I'm angry. So I'm crying not only because, like, I just feel like I let the owner win in a way. And that day, that's how I felt. I feel like I let him win because I felt like he kept, like, antagonizing me just because, I don't know what was his biased reasons. I couldn't take it no more. And I just kind of felt so broken. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, I felt so broken, so stressed, like so helpless. Because, like, I don't know. I never imagined that this would be the way that I quit a job or whatever. And then I also remember that person that I had an argument with before I left my house. Like, I felt like they won too because they wanted me to quit my job and they like antagonized me about quitting my job, and it just so happened that day I quit my job. Like, I don't know, y'all, it was just really like, it was really hard for me because I did consider like, how am I going to pay my bills? Like, I'm trying to save up for college because remind y'all, I started working there in January, I quit in August at the beginning of my senior year. So I don't know, it was just a very stressful, like, not a good time or whatever. But sooner or later, y'all, like, I got over the whole quitting thing, and it was actually a good time. I enjoyed not working. I forgot how it felt to not work. Like, I would just come home and take a nap. My grades went up, not that my grades ever went like down, but they definitely improved or whatever because I could spend more time on things that were important. So with that being said, that is the end of this story. I rate my experience at Chick-fil-A a 5.5 out of 10. It's really a hit or miss, y'all. So I'm not gonna say don't work at Chick-fil-A, but if there's anything going on there that you do not like, I don't feel like you should sit around and allow yourself to be oppressed. And to this day, I will never, somebody see it in my lips, never, ever work at fast food again. You can miss me with that fast food nonsense. Like, no. You can miss, I honestly actually never really had like bad, oh, I forgot to tell y'all. I'm sorry, rewind, fast forward. So y'all, one time while I was working there, I was actually being accused of robbing the cash register. Y'all, I was accused of robbing the cash register of $200. Y'all, and although they didn't like formally say like, hey, we're putting you on on probation because we think you stole or whatever, they did not work me for 2 weeks straight, y'all, because they thought that I stole $200 from the cash register. Apparently some lady had came in and said like, oh, she had did such and such transaction, and so they asked her, oh, which worker did you do it with? And they were like, oh, she was like, I don't know her name, but she was black. Mind you, at that time I was working there, it was only like 2 or 3 other black girls working there. So I don't know if they called all 3 of us, but they called me that morning and they were like, hey, do you remember this transaction, blah, 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 this, that, and the third? And they were just trying to, like, get me to say, like, oh, so, like, did you do this with the money? Did you do that? And I was like, I don't even remember taking that kind of order or whatever. So they're like, oh, well, we're going to check the surveillance. So, and they were just trying to, like, I could definitely tell they were trying to, like, impose themselves on me. I'm like, yo, like, a black girl? Y'all, a black girl, that was her straight description to y'all, like, and that's the one y'all are like going over. If y'all don't return this lady her money or ask one of these other girls, because it wasn't me, boo-boo. And don't try to accuse me. Don't put me on, don't like shadow probation me because you think I did that when I really didn't. Anywho, let me end this video here, y'all. I'm sorry that this story time is all over the place, but it was highly requested for me to give y'all another story time, so here it is. And it was all over the place, but I hope y'all enjoyed it. Like I said earlier in the video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you have worked at Chick-fil-A before or are interested at working at Chick-fil-A, Leave me your experiences down below, or if you just want to, you know, throw some support to your girl, feel free to Black Lives Matter it up in the comments, because, you know, Black Lives Matter. And to anybody that doesn't think so, feel free to unsubscribe. I've stuttered this whole video, but this video is over.